Okay, thank you very much for making it to this catch-up session, and sorry for not being able to make it yesterday. So what I wanted to do in this session is just to wrap up the course by introducing two things. The one is how to take photos and how to select a photo from a gallery. You already should be familiar with this, but I just want to make sure you all know how to get to the code, example code to do so. And then I want to introduce Google Maps and show you some small examples, and then wrap up and answer any questions you might have. So let me start first with the accessing the camera and also accessing the gallery. So this is already included in your Lingo Snacks example or base solution. So let me just open and show you. Okay, let me close it. You will find it under, let's see, content, project, Lingo Snacks app. You will find it there. I'm sure you're already working on this. It's not it's already done. You don't need to do any change. I just want to make sure you are aware of it, especially those of you who did not do the editor in their phase one. They might not have seen this, how to access the photo gallery and how to take a photo from Android app. So that code is basically available under UI. If I go to editor and then under, I think, resource editor fragment. Okay, let me see if it's here. Yes. All right. So if you want to allow the user to pick up some or to select a photo or a video from gallery, from Android gallery. So what you can do is, there is a new way of doing it. It's even still in beta version, but I think it's nice they made it much easier. So let me first explain what you need to add to your project to be able to make use of this. So the first thing you need is you need to add these two dependencies. Here they are. Yes, these ones. So activity Ktx dependency and fragment Ktx. So whenever you see this Ktx, these are Kotlin extensions that the Android team have introduced to make it much easier for developers and also to make it less verbose. You write less code, and it is kind of more compatible with the way we write Kotlin code. So you will find this Ktx being introduced in most of the features of Android platform. So one of these extensions, one is called activity extension and one is called fragment extension. The current version is version 1.2.0 beta 01. This is the latest version. So to be able to use what I will show you shortly, you need to add these two libraries. You need to add them to your project. And then once you add them, you will be able to, here is the resource fragment. If you want your user to be able to, let's say, select a media file, either an image or a video from the gallery, all you need to do is you use this function here, register for activity results. Register for activity results. And then you tell it what type of activity you want to allow the user to do. So in here, Android gives us so many pre-built activities we can allow the user to do. Unfortunately, I think my project is not properly opened. So let me just close again. Very strange. So IntelliSense is missing. Okay, hopefully now it should be okay. All right. So let me just explain this. All right. So let me see. All right. Good. Very nice. So what I can do here. Let me see what was it first. So I can use this register activity result to ask Android to allow the user to do a variety of things. One of them in this scenario is I'm asking Android to allow the user to get some content. In my case, the content I want to allow the user to get is either images or videos from the gallery. So all I do, I say register for activity results, and I specify what type of result I want the user to be able to access. And then I provide, once I make this call, I provide a callback, a lambda expression, and this will give me the URI that the user have selected. So let me try hopefully to run it, and I will show you exactly what I mean. And then once you define this a variable to which you assign this register for activity result from your let's say in this scenario, when the user clicks this select media button, I go to my media picker variable and I say launch this activity and allow the user to select anything from the gallery. So here's */* select anything. I think if I say here images */*, it will allow the user to only select the images from the gallery. I think if I put here videos, it will allow the user to only select videos from the gallery. So let me just keep it */*. Let me see, hopefully the app is now running. Okay, so if I go here, I think I need to log in. Let me see. Yeah. I think T1 at test.com, I think. And the password is pass123. Let's see. Okay, so once I do this, I am now able to access the edit. Now let me go to edit and go next. And I'll go to, let's say, these sentences. And I want to go to attach some media to this sentence. So currently there are 2 medias and I want to add one more. So I can click this button here. When I click, it shows me the gallery. Currently there is nothing in my gallery. No problem. So let me just go back. Let me take a photo here. Okay, so this is an emulated camera, so I'll go ahead and take this photo and say okay. So since and this will be attached here. You can see here, this is the photo being attached, and this is like a sample photo. So since this is working, so let me just show you when I click this button here, what happened in code to be able to allow the user to take a photo. And then I'll come back and explain how we allow the user to select an existing photo from the gallery. All right, so here is the take photo example. So what I'm doing in this take photo, first of all, I go ahead and create a photo file. So here, create a photo file. So this create photo file, I randomly generates a string. That will be the name of my file, the name of the photo that will be taken. And then I'll get the current path associated with this current app, and then I'll go ahead and create yes, in the current path I create a subfolder called images. So in the current path I create subfolder called images, and I go ahead and do mk dears, which means go ahead and create this subfolder, and then using that subfolder I create a file, and I name the file, the name of the file is randomly generated, which will be a random string. So let me say it one more time. Here I create a random file name, then I get the app file path, then once I get this app file path, I'll try to create a subfolder called images. If it doesn't exist, it will get created. If it exists, it won't get recreated each time. It will be created once if it doesn't exist. Then I create a file that has the name of the file will be the randomly generated name .jpg. So that's the first step. I went ahead and created the file. Then I convert. It's a bit complicated the way Android people decide to do it. Then I convert this file. That I've just created, and I get the URL of the file. I get the actual full address where this file is actually located. So to be able to get the actual address of the file, the full address of the file, I use this file provider get URI for file. And then once I get the photo URI, I launch an activity to allow the user to take a photo. So this is what you saw here. Let me just show it one more time here. So when I click this take photo, basically it showed me the camera and I can take the photo. So how do we achieve this? How do we achieve this functionality? We first create the file, get the URL of the file, and then launch the photo, the camera. Launch the camera to allow us to take the photo. When we launch the camera, we need to pass to it the file URI on which this photo that the user will take, it will be saved at this URI. So before I launch the photo gallery, I need to have a photo URI at my hand. So when the photo is taken, that photo will be stored at this particular address. Now let's see what is this take photo picture looks like. So here it is. Sorry, not this one. This take photo. So take photo again is a variable that I declare, and it is, I assign to it register for activity results. So basically in here I will be launching an activity that already exists on Android. It's not an activity that I developed myself in my app. It already exists on the Android platform. All I am doing here, I am asking Android to launch this activity, and I'll wait for the results to come back, the results of this activity to come back. So in my case, the activity that I launched in this particular example, I launched the camera activity to allow me to take a photo. So you can see here, when I click this, the screen that you see here, this is not my screen. It comes from Android, already built in on Android. So I'm just showing you here how do we ask Android to run that activity. So it's a simple way, I'll say you register for activity results. Register for activity results means I want you to go ahead, launch this particular activity, and I'll wait for you to tell me what's the results of that of launching that activity. And in here you pass as a parameter one of the activities that Android provides you. So for example, you can say take picture. This is a take picture activity. This is take video activity. So there are couple of them. The main ones I wanted to show you. There is this get content. If you use this get content, this will open the gallery, and you can select one of the photos or one of the videos from the gallery. If you want to take your own photo, you say take picture. If you want to allow the user to take a video, you say take video. Okay, and there are other activities that you can ask Android to do. Create documents, create multiple contents, open documents. I'm not really familiar with those. Maybe they will allow us to open some documents such as PDF or Word. I have not tried them. You can even ask Android to open the get permission, and it will ask the user to acquire certain permission. So these are built-in activities on Android, and what you do in here is just asking Android to open such activities. So in our case, let's just stay focused. In our case, I want to launch the take picture activity, and I'll wait for it to finish. When it's finished, I'll get either a success or fail. And if it is successful, then I want to because this is take photo, my photo will already be on photo UID, and I can get that particular UID, and in my case I create a resource and add the resource to the resource list. So let me show you what happens when I take a photo. Here it is. I'm not sure why. All right. Let me first delete all these so it's easier for you to see what's going on. Okay, so let me do it one more time. So when I click here, I already created a file, and I passed that file URL to the take picture activity. Now, and the way I launch this take picture activity by this simple, very super simple line. All I do, register for activity, and tell Android which activity, which built-in Android activity I want to start, I want to launch. In this case, I want to launch the take picture, and when I'm done with this take picture, this code will be executed. In my scenario, if it is successful, I will get the URI, which is basically the full path of the picture, the new picture that was taken, and then I'll add it to the resources list and notify the adapter. So this new resource will be shown in the resources recycler view. So here it is. So when I go back here, and let's say I'll take the photo, click next, and this is the full URL. This is the full URL of the new photo that was taken. And now I can give it a title. Give it a title, okay? So this is the take photo activity. Now, what if I don't want to take a new photo? I want to be able to load an existing one or select an existing one. So for that particular scenario, when I click here, it shows me the gallery and it shows me the images I have. I don't have any, which is surprising. All right. I don't have any. So let me just go back. All right. So let me just go back and go to the actual camera in this phone.
Yeah, maybe the camera that you are using in the app is taking the photo for the app only.
Yeah, it's storing it in a folder belonging to the app, in a subfolder
Yeah,
belonging
yeah.
to the app. That's why I'm not able to see it. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on here. All right, so hopefully I can see. Here is the camera. So if I take photo now, I should be able to see it in the gallery. So let me take this photo. So now once I took, let me see if I can take another one. Okay, so I took two. So now let me see if I can go back to my app. All right, no problem. Let me just rerun this. Okay. Hopefully I can open this Lingo Snacks. All right, looks like I need to log in again. No problem. Let me just log in. t1@test.com and the password is pass123. Log in. Now I should be able to edit the package. Go next. I'll go to the sentences belonging to this particular word and I go to the resources associated with this word. Let me just delete all. Now if I go to select an image from the gallery, hopefully I should see the images that I took. So let me pick up this one. And basically when I selected the image, it returned me the URL of that image, the address of that image in the device, on the device. And then basically I can give it a test photo. And basically once I added this new photo, I can go back and then basically save. Now if I go and view these photos, you can see here the flash, it took the new photo that I have added. All right. Okay, so let me just summarize and close off this topic. So you can, no, sorry, not this one. All right. So what I showed you two things. One is how to pick up an image from the gallery. So to pick up an image from the gallery, I basically create a variable and assign to it, I'll assign to this variable register for activity results. Whenever you see this register for activity results, it means I will be asking Android to open one of the built-in activities, and I'll wait for the results to come back from that particular activity. And when you call this function, you pass to it which activity do you want Android to launch for you. In this scenario, I want to launch the gallery. So I want to allow the user to select an image or to select a photo or to select a video from the gallery. So that's why I said here get content. So open the activity get content, which means open the activity to allow me to select something from the gallery. So once the user selects an item from the gallery, the address of the selected item will be returned in this variable called URI, and I can do whatever I need to do with it. In my case, I show it as a post message, and then I'll create a new resource, and I'll add the resource to the resources list in my case. That's scenario one. I want to allow the user to pick up a media. So using this variable, I go ahead and launch that activity and give it some parameters. In this case, the parameter is the kind of a sort of the type of files I want to allow the user to select. If I put /star/star, which means launch the gallery and allow the user to select any type of file, whether it's an image or a video. So this is scenario one. Scenario two, I want to allow the user to take a photo. So to allow the user to take a photo, I first need to create a file, get the URL of the file, and then launch take photo activity. And this take photo activity is basically, again, it is a register activity, a register for activity results. And in this case, instead of asking the user to open the gallery, instead of asking Android to open the gallery, I'm asking Android to open the camera to allow the user to take a photo, to take a picture. Or I can open the camera in a video mode to allow the user to take a video. Okay, and once everything is done, I will run this this function here, this lambda expression function, and it tells me, it gives me one parameter that it gives me is success. So if it is successful, I will get the URL of the photo that was taken. I'll create a new resource using that URL, and I'll add that resource to the resources list, and I'll show the newly added resource in the recycler view. And this is exactly what took place here. So if I edit here as I showed you, in this it allows me to select a particular image from the gallery, and in this second scenario it allows you to take a new photo, and then once the new photo is taken, I use the URL that was of the file that was generated, and I'll create a new resource and add the resource to the resource list and show it on this recycler view. That's basically the magic of this register for activity results. It is used for accessing, in our scenario, it is used for accessing the gallery or to pick up an image or a photo, an image or a video, or you can use it to open the camera or to take a photo or to open the video recording to record a video. So that's basically the way you can access the gallery and the way you can access the camera from your app. Is the very, very simple way. They simplified significantly in this extension that I mentioned in the beginning. So for you to be able to use register for activity results, for you to be able to use this, you must add these extension, these two Kotlin extensions, activity KTX and fragment KTX. Just copy and paste this in your on your build.gradle. Okay, that's it for accessing the gallery and accessing the camera to take photo or video. So you already have this already in the LingoSnacks base solution that was given to you as a base for your project. I just wanted to explain it in this so you are aware of it if you want to use it in another scenario in future apps that you will build. Okay, second thing I want to introduce here is the ability to use Google Maps in your app. This might be useful for some apps. So first of all, Google has this Google Maps platform, and it provides 3 key services. So using Google Maps platform, you can access maps, and you can integrate these maps, these interactive maps, and you can customize them and integrate them within your app. And you can access either the normal maps we are familiar with. You can also access satellite imagery and street view imagery. So we all familiar with Google Maps. You can simply integrate these Google Maps into your app, and they become like part of your app if you need to. Second thing you can do with Google Maps platform, you can also programmatically call the route service. The route service allows you to compute possible paths between a source and a destination. So if a user wants to go from A to B, you can simply make a service call. You give it the address or the GPS location or the GPS coordinates, or the coordinates of the source location and the coordinates of the destination, and Google Maps will return you a list of possible ways to get from A to B. And you can also specify whether you want to go from A to Z, whether you want to go from A to Z using public transport or biking or driving or walking. And basically the route API will return you the best possible route to get there. It will also return you the travel times and distances. The travel time and distances. It will also return you the traffic, the real-time traffic about the selected route. So if you for example, if you are if you say, okay, give me the driving direction from Landmark to Qatar University, it will give you the best possible route. It will compute for you the arrival time and the distance between the source and destination. And while you are doing that journey, while you are taking that travel journey, it can give you traffic updates, how busy the selected route is in real time. So you might we all familiar with this from Google Maps, but you can build this in your own app if you wish. So for example, let me see here. If I go back to unfortunately this emulator has issues now. Right. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately. All right, so if I anyway, let me show you here. If I go to, I think, what is the transport provider in Qatar? What's the name of them? Karwa, I think. Is it Karwa or? I think Karwa, they have a Karwa app. So this Karwa app, not taxi, the bus app. So this app is basically integrating Google Maps, and it allows you to um, show the bus stops. It will allow you to let's say plan a trip from one location to another. So if you are building such app, you can do so a custom app, your own app, and but it will be relying on Google routes to enable enable users to search for itinerary going from location A to location B. So, so to be able to do this, you need to use basically, you can make use of the routes API that is part of the Google platform. The other thing you can also do in Google Maps platform, you can also query places. So they have like more than 200 million places around the world that you can query. You can search, you can search them by name, and you can get their location, you can get their address, the rating, the reviews of other users, the contact details, and contact details. So for example, you're already familiar with this. In if I go to let's say maps.google, I can search for a particular place. So I can say here, as I type in here Qatar University, let's say, so it will go ahead and search for these places in the places database that Google is maintaining, and it can give me a lot more details. Maybe see here, it gave me the name, it gave me some reviews, some images, lot of details about this particular place. So you can access these place details from your own app if you wish. So to summarize, the Google Maps platform provide you three key services that you can access programmatically. So whatever you are already familiar with Google Maps, you can make this functionality accessible from within your app, and you can programmatically, let's say, look up a location, look up a particular place, get some details about that place, and you can even show that place on the map within your app programmatically. And all of this is using Google Maps platform. And this Google Map platform allows you to integrate maps in your app. It allows you to compute routes from source to destination. And it will also allow you to look up places and get details about places around the world. You can look up these places by name or by address or even by GPS coordinates. Now, to be able to use all of this, you need to go to Google Map platform, Google Maps platform, and basically you need to register as a user. The Maps platform, you need to register as a user, create an app, and uh, create an app, and then create an app key. So this is the Google the Maps platform. As I mentioned, it provides you access to these major services. Let me show you. These major services I just explained: maps, routes, and places. And to be able to use them, you need to, of course, log into Google, and then you you will be able to create an app, and then within that app you create an app key, and that app key is very important. So you need to put it in your Android, in your Android app, to be able to enable your app to make use of Google Cloud services, or to make use of, in this case, of map services. So these map services, they used to be free. Unfortunately, I think in the last 2-3 years now they are paid service, but they give you, I think, $200 per month free. So you can always subscribe to this service and get this free quota. Not only the trial, you have the free trial 300, but you also have a regular enable billing. So for you to make use of some of the API, you need to enable billing. What I mean when you say enable billing, you need to provide your credit card. So don't worry too much about it. This is if you really want to use it in real life. But even if you want to use it in real life, if it's not a heavy use, the $200 they give you monthly is good enough. You can also set a quota that once you go above certain number of requests, uh, you can basically disable the usage so you don't get charged. So to summarize, all these services I just explained are available through Google Maps platform. You need to create an app, create an app key, and then you can use that key within your app. So let me show you concretely what this means. So here is an app that uses Google Maps, and with under resources values, you must have this file called Google_Maps_API. And within this file, you basically provide this key. This key is unique to your app. This key is unique to your app. You must provide this key. If you don't put this key, your app will not work. And the Google Maps platform will not enable you to access the services provided by Google platform. Okay, let me go up here. In this file, by the way, this file is generated automatically if you create a new project, and instead of selecting an empty activity, you will select a Google Map activity. When you select a Google Map activity, this file that I'm explaining will be automatically generated. Not only automatically generated, it also has this line here. It has this line to enable you to very easily get an app key. So I can copy this URL here. I'll go to Chrome and I paste it. I paste that URL, and it will enable me to, if my app does not have already an app key, I can generate one very easily by following that URL I just showed you. In my case, I think I already did so. If I didn't, I basically go through these steps. Either I can pick up an existing project or create new one. Go next. I'll go next, let's say. In this case, I'm creating a new project on the Google Maps platform. And once I create this project, I can generate an app key. And then simply I can take this app key that is generated. I can take this app key that is generated, this one here, copy it, and simply paste it in here. You paste this key in here. Once you do this, khalas, you can access the Google Map services that I have explained. Now let us now just start looking into, let me run this app. and start looking into how do we integrate Google Maps into our apps. So the first thing you see here in my activity map.xml, what the the Android Studio did, it created a fragment, and this fragment is simply, the name of this fragment is com.google.android.jsm maps.support fragment. So it is a fragment, it's a special fragment that will host a map view. So let me show you. So if hopefully this works, I should be able to see. Yeah, I should be able to see the map here. I can also, let's say, I can click on this little 3 dots here, and I go to location. Let's say I look up Qatar University as an example, and I set my current location. Because this is an emulated device, I'll set my current location, and then when I click this button here, can you see here this button? It will go to my current location, which is in my case, it's Qatar University. So I can change the location here. Let's say I traveled there and I'm in Sydney University, and I'll say this is my current location. If I click this button here, current location, it will take me all the way to my current location, which is in this case the University of Sydney. So you can see here I have super simple. All I do, I have a fragment. This fragment, by the way, is automatically added. If you go ahead and say add a new, and let's say activity, and you select, do we have here map activity? Yes. If you select this map activity, this fragment will be added. And this fragment has nothing really special. It's just a fragment that uses a built-in fragment from Android, which is called support map fragment. So first of all, for me to be able to use the Google Maps in my app, I need to do two things, as I explained. The first thing is I need to have an app key, and I add it to this file, Google_Maps_API.xml, and I add that key in there. And in my build.gradle, I must add this one here. This Android GSM Play Services. And this one. Sorry, two things I need to add: the Play Services map and the Play Services location. This is if I want to know the current location of the user, and this one is to be able to visualize the map. So I need these two dependencies. And just to explain these two dependencies clearly, you see here on Android, your app will be talking to this GSM service, which is basically Google Mobile Services, and this GSM service will talk to the map service hosted by Google. So in your app, you need to add a dependency to this GSM service. And that's what we did in these two lines. I'm adding GSM service, two services I'm using, the map service and the location service. Okay, now this is how my layout looks like. My layout is super simple. Now in my activity, This is what's taking place. This is how I load the map on my activity. So what I do, I'll go and say, support fragment manager, please go ahead and find me the map fragment. The map fragment is this fragment that we have inside our layout. So I'll go ahead and say, give me the map fragment. And then what I will do, I will asynchronously, because remember, loading the map will take time, and it is a heavy task, a long running task. So I'm not going to run it on the main thread, otherwise my UI will block. So that's why I load the map in the background thread. So I'll say here lifecycle coroutine scope launch when created. After the activity is created, I want you to launch the map in the background. Go ahead and launch, wait for the map to load. Once the map is loaded, I want you to go ahead and do a couple of things. The first thing I want you to do is I select one of the locations, whatever location I want to select. For example, I could select Sydney or Doha or wherever I want the location to be. In this case, when the app launch, I select I define the longitude and latitude for Doha. You can Google, you say Google, you go to Google and say Doha latitude and longitude. It will give you these two numeric values, double values. And then what I want to do, I go to the map and say move camera. What move camera does is basically I'll zoom the camera to this particular location, which is basically zoom in the camera, zoom in the map to Doha. And then I specify the zoom level. The zoom level could be one of these one of these five values. If I put the zoom level 1, it will be the world, 5 is continent, 10 is city, and 15 is streets, and 20 is building. So if I don't do this, when my app loads, it will just show Google Maps without zooming. It might show the global map. But in here, I want to zoom in to Doha in the map. So this is how I zoom in to Doha in the map. I specify the longitude and latitude, and then use this move camera method. And I give the latitude and longitude where I want to zoom in, and I provide the zoom level. And you can see here when the app loads, it will zoom into Doha, and basically it will also add a marker. Can you see here, add a marker? I can go to map and add a marker, which is the one you see here. And this marker, I can specify, I need to specify, of course, the position of the marker. This is the longitude and latitude. I specify a title. In this case, the title of this marker is Doha. And I specify snippet. Snippet is further details. Can you see here? Doha is my city, and I specify the longitude and latitude. So if you want to add a marker to the map, it's very simple. Just go to the map object and say add marker, and you can pass 3 objects to add marker. The position where the marker will be, then the title of this marker, which is in my case Doha, and then the snippet, which is further details displayed after the title of the marker. In my case, I said here Doha is my city, and I showed the latitude and the longitude. You can also show an overlay. So the overlay, let me show you. If I zoom in further, you can see beneath this marker there is a there is a, let's say, a Google image. Can you see it there? There is a Google image there. How did I add that Google image? So to add the Google image, you can create what is known as an overlay. An overlay, I'll say here, go ahead and create a ground overlay. And this is the image I want you to add. And I want you to add this image at this particular location. Then I go to the map and say add ground overlay and give it this this image. So this image that you see here beneath my marker was added using this overlay add ground overlay method. You can add any image you wish. And you can see this image is nothing but a resource that I already have in my app. So what I'm telling you here, what I'm able to do with this simple code, I'm able to load the map, I'm able to add a marker to the map using the map.addMarker. I'm able to add an image to the map using add ground overlay. So I can customize the map, I can load the map and customize it using these simple codes that I'm showing you here. Then I can also, you can see here what I'm seeing here, set point of interest, click. When a point of interest is clicked, let me show you here. When a point of interest is clicked, so for example, this Al-Watan Center, when it's clicked, when this Al-Watan Center is clicked, I add a marker there, and this marker will have a title, Al-Watan Center, and the latitude and longitude of that place. So for example, I go here, Gold Souk. When I click there, I add a marker there. So very simple. All I'm doing here, I go to the map and say set on point of interest click listener. When a point of interest is clicked, point of interest is a known place in a map. When a particular point of interest is clicked, any point of interest is clicked, I want you to create a marker in there and show the longitude and latitude of that marker. And this is the code to do it. So I listen to this on point of interest clicked event, and then once that point of interest is clicked, I get the details of the point of interest that was clicked. I get those details. And then I create a marker. This is how I create a marker. I go to the map.addMarker. I specify the position. The position of the marker will be the same position as the point of interest. The title of the marker will be the name. So the map gives me the location, give me the coordinates, which is the longitude and latitude, and also it gives me the name of that point of interest. And I add a snippet. Snippet is nothing but extra details. In my case, I show the latitude and longitude. And then I'll go to this marker and say show info window. So this simple piece of code allows me to do this on click, for example, here. Wuqud petrol station. When I click this one, Google Map will return me a point of interest, and I convert this point of interest into a marker, and that marker I'll do here show info window, and that's what we will show in the info window. We will show the title, which is the name of the point of interest, and a snippet, which is the longitude and latitude of that particular place. Okay, now this button here, you see here, this current location button is built in. I didn't program it. I didn't do any programming to it. All I needed to do once my app is loaded, after my app is loaded, what I did is enable my location. Enable my location. Take a look at this. Enable my location. And what this enable my location does, so for you to be able to access the current user location, user location, you need to add this permission to your manifest. So you go to your manifest and add this user's permission, Android permission dot access find location. You need to add this permission here. And when the app starts, this is a runtime, by the way, this is a runtime permission. The user needs to grant you explicitly the permission when the app starts. And then basically what we will do here, I'll check whether the app already has the permission. If the app already has the permission, all I need to do, I'll say map.is my location enabled equal to true. That's all I do. If I do map.is location enabled equal to true, then I will get this button here. Automatically get this button, and it has built-in functionality. When I click it, the map will zoom into my current location. If I don't have the permission to do so, I can request the user permission. How do I request the user permission? Very simple. I just say app activity compact dot request permissions, and this is the permission I want to request, which is access find location, and I'll request this permission. So this will pop up because I already have the permission. This will pop up. If I don't, this will pop up a window, and it will ask me, do you want to allow this app to access your current location? If I say yes, then this functionality will be enabled. If I say no, then this button will not be visible. The other thing you can do, you can also change what type of view you want to see. This is a normal view. You can have a hybrid view, which has the satellite imagery plus the street view. You can have a terrain view, and so on. And again, to do this is very, very simple. You basically change in one line of code. So if it's normal, you say the map type is Google map type normal. If it's hybrid, you go for hybrid. If it is satellite, you go for satellite. So this is very easy where you can customize what type of map your app is displaying to the user. Okay, the final thing I want to show you is how to get the current location of the user. The current location, programmatically, how to programmatically access the current location of the user. So to do so, if you want to get the current location of the user, you use a built-in location services dot get fused location provider client. So you get a reference to this fused location provider client, and then you basically ask for get me the last location, because this could be a long running. You listen to onComplete listener. You listen to the onComplete event. When the last location is available, then it will be given to you, and all you do is you list. If it is successful, you will get your location in the results. And the location will give you the latitude and the longitude. And in this case, I'm just displaying it in a toast. So using this location services dot get location provider client, you can get the last location very, very easily. You can get the last location of the user. If you wish to track the user location, so instead of just saying get me the last location, fuse location client dot get last location, what you can do is you can request location update, which means in this scenario, every 10 seconds I will get a new location update where the user is, the current location of the user. So every 10 seconds, I'll get a location of the user, and I call this location callback to display the current location in a toast. So to get the current user location, either you can get the last one, or you can subscribe and get the location update every time interval. In this scenario, every 10 seconds you get the location of the user. So other things you can do, and to close with this, other things you can do in when you do this type of apps, one important programming task is called geocoding. Geocoding is the process. The geocoding is the process of converting an address to latitude and longitude. So you give it an address, it gives you back latitude and longitude. Or there is another process known as reverse geocoding. You give it latitude and longitude, and it gives you back an address. Or there is another way to do it, is using the Geocoding API on Google platform. You can give it a place ID, and it will return you the address of that particular place and further details about that particular place. Now the geocoding is very, very simple. So on Android, you have a class called geocoder. You create an instance of that class, and you say get from location. So you give it the longitude and latitude, and it gives you back an address. So this is called geocoding. Or sorry, this is called the reverse geocoding. I give it longitude and latitude and gives me an address. The geocoding, as I give it an address or a name, I give it a name of the location and gives me back an address, including the GPS coordinates. So in a very simple way, using this geocoder class, I can convert latitude, longitude to a name and an address, or vice versa. If I have a name of a place, I can convert that name to GPS coordinates. So the first, so from address to GPS coordinate, this is called geocoding. From coordinates, GPS coordinates, geographic coordinates, latitude and longitude, to human readable address, this is called reverse geocoding. And you can do this very easily using the geocoder class that comes with the Android libraries. So to summarize, in a location, when you are building a location aware app, an app that is aware of the location of the user, you can easily get the location of the device in terms of longitude and latitude. You can, using simple geocoder API, come in with the map libraries, Android map libraries. You can find an address of a particular geographic location, and this is called geocoding. Or if you have a location, you can find out the GPS coordinates. Sorry, this is the other way around. If you have it, I always confuse it. So geocoding, you have a street, you have an address, and you want to convert it to longitude, latitude. This is geocoding. And reverse geocoding is you have GPS coordinates, which are basically your latitude and longitude, and you convert it to human readable address. This is very common. You can also track the location of the device or the location of the user using the technique I showed you here. Using the location services client, you can basically you can basically track the location of the user by saying request location update, and you can track the location as the user moves from one place to another. The other thing you typically find yourself doing, which I didn't provide an example, you can also do what is known as geofencing. So you can watch when the user enters certain geographic location, and you can trigger some action. So for example, once the student enters, let's say, the campus, we can we can give them some updates about events that are happening on the campus. So geofencing, if they are outside the campus, they don't get these notifications, they don't get these events. You can also track the user activity, what they are doing, whether they are walking or cycling or driving, and you can visualize all this information in a map using Google Maps. So these are the typical tasks you can do in a location-aware app. These are the typical tasks. So inshallah, I will be improving a little bit more these slides, and I will be posting them along with these examples that I have here. And the idea of this lecture is really just to introduce you, just in terms of awareness, that this is Google Maps components that you can make use of your app and what things you can do with them. So I'm not expecting you to become an expert just from this lecture. This is mainly about awareness. Just be aware of it and post these examples, play with them, and hopefully if you see the need to use them in your future apps, you at least have somewhere to get started from. So because we don't have any more labs, so we will not further practice this in this course, but at least you are aware of them. Okay, I think I'll stop here. Sorry I took much longer than I